It is April 1980. On a remote desert floor inside Iran, 8 American servicemen are dead. Classified documents are burning in the wreck of abandoned military helicopters. Within hours, the President of the United States will have to go on national television and admit to a covert military operation that officially never existed. For 49 days, 52 Americans had been held hostage in Tehran. The world's most powerful military nation was forced to watch paralyzed as militant students paraded blindfolded diplomats in front of cameras. By the spring, all diplomatic channels had failed. Facing cratering political support and immense public pressure, President Jimmy Carter authorized an incredibly risky, highly classified rescue attempt, Operation Eagle Claw. Military analysts later noted the plan required 7 simultaneous miracles. It demanded perfect coordination between 4 different branches of the armed forces, flying 600 miles from an aircraft carrier into hostile territory to rendezvous at an isolated salt flat called Desert One. The planners were obsessed with absolute secrecy. They compartmentalized the operation so severely that the different branches never fully trained together. Critical inter-service communication was impossible. The mission was structurally compromised before the helicopters ever left the deck. The Navy helicopters flew straight into a haboob, a massive, blinding wall of fine dust. The storm disabled navigation systems and forced pilots to turn back entirely blind. The assault force arrived at Desert One with a fatal math problem. They needed an absolute minimum of 6 operational helicopters to execute the rescue in Tehran. They had exactly 5. The mission commander made the only call he could: abort. As the forces prepared to withdraw, a repositioning helicopter sliced its rotor blades into a fully loaded C-113 fuel tanker. The resulting explosion instantly destroyed both aircraft. 8 United States servicemen died in the fire. In the panic to evacuate the survivors, highly classified documents, including the names of CIA informants inside Tehran, were left behind in the intact helicopters for Iranian forces to collect the next morning. It was a cascading tactical disaster that crippled American geopolitical prestige. The failure to bring the hostages home played a direct role in Jimmy Carter losing the presidency. The hostages were finally released minutes after Ronald Reagan was sworn in. The Pentagon immediately convened the Holloway Commission to investigate what went wrong. The verdict was stark. The United States military had no Joint Special Operations Command structure. Inter-service rivalries had compromised the planning and ultimately killed American soldiers. To fix this, the Department of Defense created the Joint Special Operations Command, or JSOC. It forced Tier 1 strike forces to train and deploy under a single authority. To solve pre-mission intelligence black holes, JSOC built the Intelligence Support Activity. This ghost unit deploys under deep cover to build networks before assault teams arrive. JSOC operations are highly restricted. They utilize special access programs, a classification level sitting above top secret. This means even senior 4-star conventional generals are legally barred from knowing what these units are doing unless they are explicitly read in. The findings of the Holloway Commission led directly to the 1987 creation of the United States Special Operations Command. It replaced fragmented service rivalries with a unified budget and a permanent command. The failure at Desert One provided the blueprint for a military structure where elite units from every branch could finally train, plan, and fight together. Jump forward to September 26, 2001. Exactly 15 days after the 9/11 attacks, a modified Russian helicopter crossed the Hindu Kush Mountains into northern Afghanistan. This was Operation Jawbreaker. Contrast this with the massive footprint of Eagle Claw. Jawbreaker consisted of just 7 CI officers. They carried no heavy armor, no conventional backup, and backpacks containing $3 million in cash. Leveraging that cash and decades of established relationships, those 7 men rented a local proxy army. In 40 days, they generated hundreds of intelligence reports and directed the precision airstrikes that dismantled the Taliban's defenses. The entire operation was covert. Jawbreaker achieved this while the United States government was officially maintaining a pre-war posture, 11 days before the conventional military entered the country. Jawbreaker proved the structural fix worked. Small, autonomous, highly specialized teams leveraging hyper-local intelligence could rapidly secure strategic victories that massive conventional forces could not. But maintaining a lethal shadow command requires a toll paid far from the battlefield. It falls directly on the families of the operators. When a Tier 1 operator dies during a denied operation, the Department of Defense often issues a cover story. Families receive a notification stating their son was killed in a generic training accident, masking the combat reality of the classified mission. In 2011, a helicopter call signed Extortion 17 was shot down in Afghanistan, killing 30 Americans, including 17 members of SEAL Team 6. The extreme classification of the intelligence and command decisions meant families were legally barred from knowing the full tactical context of how their sons died. At CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, there is a permanent physical monument to this sanctioned silence. The memorial wall holds over 140 carved gold stars. But in the adjacent Book of Honor, dozens of those stars sit next to blank spaces. Their identities and their sacrifices remain locked behind state secrecy. The security of the United States relies on operations that officially never happened. The ultimate price is paid by the families who live indefinitely with a sanctioned fiction, unable to openly mourn the men who died in the dark.